Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Reaction Therapy. I am Tom Stevens, your resident psychotherapist, here to break down the lyrics to some awesome music. And this is one of my favorite days, the day we get to do new artist reactions. Every Sunday we do this. This is such a fun thing because I get to react to somebody we haven't even touched yet. And today is really special. And I really want to do a good job with this because it is Crypt we are breaking down today and reacting to. Bad Friend. My son Nick, who is the brains behind this, who has just completely engineered and produced this whole thing at Reaction Therapy, said, "You have got to do this, Dad. And this one's going to break you down," which I don't like breaking down at all in front of the camera, but if I have to, like you've seen on other videos, I will, but I'm just going to feel what I feel. And I admire Crypt. I've seen him react to things before. I love the work that he does. Crypt, I love what you do. I love his studio. I love his sound. I love how talented he is at being able to take rap. I think I've heard him do some Eminem stuff where he can just literally bring it in and repeat it out so well that I haven't been able to hear his music yet. So this is so special for me to be able to do. If you are new here, hit the subscribe button, please. This has been such a cool journey for Nick and I to have Reaction Therapy come to life and grow so big, so fast. And even now to have a Patreon page, which go there. If you want to see this after this, go to our Patreon page. Check it out. We have several levels you might love to check out. YouTube's still here. We're still doing a reaction every day, but it is bonus content of things that won't end up on YouTube that we either can't get on YouTube, or it's different genres, different artists, different songs that wouldn't have made it through on the Google Docs. So we decided to create that as a bonus feature for people, and there's even free stuff out there too. So just go check it out. If you like it, awesome. If you don't, awesome. Come back to YouTube and we can still do this same thing. And don't forget, we have a Discord server, so you want to check that out too because people are chatting all of the time. I am so thankful, and Nick and I are so grateful to have you in our lives now when we never thought that was possible before. And just for you to take the time to watch this is awesome. Crypt, for you to allow me to react to you, I am grateful and I can't wait to dive into this. So without further ado, let's get into Crypt and Bad Friend.
2:30 in the morning and I get a text from my friend. She said, "I need you right now," and I already knew what that meant. See, me and this girl, we think alike. Too many phone calls spent for me to know she's thinking about her life and how it's gonna end. See, on the outside, we're happy and we show it to the world. And we...
This is really heavy. So I see him there, and I guess this is his friend who's texting him, and she's at the end of her rope and reaching out to him for help. I think they've been here before. You know, he's talking about this isn't a shock to him to get this message, but they think a lot alike. And he answered, he was at least texting back, just curious about what's to happen. So this gives me kind of the foundation for what's about to come.
Out of life and how it's gonna end. See, on the outside we're happy and we show it to the world, and we put on this fake exterior so the truth won't unfurl. But I know who she is, cause it's like looking in a mirror. All these smiles and cries for help, and
Did you see that? How he just stared in the mirror right at the very moment. He said it's like looking in a mirror, almost like he's been there too. He knows what that feels like. I can relate completely to it. We present this outer exterior of everything's great, right? Everything's fine. Got my clothes all together. Everything's great. Got my cross here and I'm just doing great. But on the inside, totally broken. I've been there in my life. I know what it's like to have a broken down marriage, to not be the best person or father I want to be in life. And the only reason I can say that and proclaim it is because I've dealt with it, worked on it, worked through it, and become the best version of me I can today. And most people who haven't worked on it or dealt with it or gone through it will hide from it. They won't bring it out. So that's what you see in 12-step programs with addiction, by the way, y'all, is when people get recovery and get serenity and really change their lives, they'll speak about it all day long because they're proud of where they've been and where they have come to since then. Like they own that. But people who are ashamed of it are people who are still going through the cycle of it, which is okay. It's hard, But man, this is powerful. When he looked in that mirror,
Unfurl, but I know who she is, cause it's like looking in a mirror. All these smiles and cries for help, and it couldn't be any clearer. So I pick up the phone and call her as she answers through her cries. She's hyperventilating, telling me that she wants to die. My heart
so cool how, first of all, the sound, the music's incredible. When that beat drops at the perfect tempo, right? With the mood of this music. It's been crazy, just steady. And he picks up the phone to call. He doesn't text back. Awesome.
in a mirror, all these smiles and cries for help, and it couldn't be any clearer. So I pick up the phone and call her as she answers through her cries. She's hyperventilating, telling me that she wants to die. My heart starts to race and my thoughts begin to blur. We're 9 hours apart, but I'm seconds from losing her. I try to calm her down and tell her what she means to me. Even though we're new friends, she's seen a side that no one sees. Told her, listen to my breaths, I'm right here, please breathe. You got so much left to do, stay here, don't leave. The cries got even louder as the breaths got short. I told her, listen to my words as I fell down to the floor. Stay.
Wow, this is intense. Wow. 9 hours apart, new friends, like they haven't known each other a super long time, but they know enough about each other's story to know. Sometimes you can be the best of friends with somebody who's so far apart. And he's trying to talk her down off the ledge. Can't go get her. Can't do anything really. Can't just hang up the phone and try to call help right now. It's a desperate situation. This is kind of my world I live in at the office a lot of times as a therapist. You know, there are times I'm at work having to deal with clients and somebody is at the very edge and about ready to do something really bad. And I've got to jump in and react and try to handle it the best I can and do the best I can. And he looks really desperate there. Like he's trying to say everything he possibly can. Ooh.
Please breathe, you got so much left to do. Stay here, don't leave. The cries got even louder as the breaths got short. I told her, listen to my words as I fell down to the floor. Stay with me, I'm here, let it out, it's okay. Just cry till you can't cry, no more tears down your face. A couple minutes went by and the crying finally stopped. But not because she did, because the phone call dropped. I called her back quick, just hoping I'd hear hello. But I just kept getting met with the sounds of those dial tones. I froze. What do you do in that moment? Do you call the police, or do you hope that she's over it? Get a hold of her parents and tell them the situation, just so they can pull her from college and end her aspirations. Leave it alone and hope it was just an escapade. Pray from a text from her in the morning saying that she's okay.
What do you do? Like, a lot of people who are watching this have been in that exact same scenario of seeing somebody really struggle. We'll take that side first. Seeing somebody really struggle and being just at the end of everything and just wanting to end it all and trying to, do I say something? Do I not? Do I just trust that they're going to be okay and make it through the night? Do I call 911? Do I tell parents, like you said, and have them pull them from school, which I've seen both sides, right? I've seen people do that and then it ends up worse for that person because they weren't really at the end of their rope, even though they were really desperate in that moment. And then they're pulled home, their whole life's ripped out from under them. And then I've seen people not taken, not answered, not responded to, and they end up in a terrible fate. So that he's describing a great, difficult, traumatizing experience of what do I do, because I feel like her life is in my hands at this point, and I don't know what decision to make.
The situation, just so they can pull her from college and end her aspirations. Leave it alone and hope it was just an escapade. Pray from a text from her in the morning saying that she's okay. Call anyone you know just to make sure that she's alive. Ignore it completely and pray to God that she survived. I let it go. She must have wanted to be alone. I guess that this was just another one of her episodes. She never told no one about this depression she dealt with. And who was I to air out her secrets? That would be selfish. So I lay down in my bed and I rested my head. Closed my eyes and drifted peacefully to sleep. Then I dreamt that I would see her tomorrow and I would speak to her then. Till I was woken to several missed calls and texts that she's dead. My heart broke.
Wow. So he just did the best he could with trying to say this wasn't the first time. I mean, clearly he said this was not the first time this had happened, and I can't see her. I can't tell what's going on, but I'll just trust that it's like the other times and she'll be okay. And then he goes to sleep and wakes up and it calls and messages that she's dead.
Closed my eyes and drifted peacefully to sleep. Then I dreamt that I would see her tomorrow and I would speak to her then. Till I was woken to several missed calls and texts that she's dead. My heart broke. She downed a bottle of pills. She took them shortly after our call ended and it felt surreal. She was a friend of many, a student athlete at her school, a daughter, a sister, a very special jewel. At the funeral they told us that nobody had a clue that they could have saved her life, if only that they knew. And if someone at the funeral had ever...
Oh, this is so sad. Like the way he's describing that at the funeral they were talking about nobody had any idea. She looked totally fine. And he's got all of this knowledge and wisdom inside of that relationship he had with her. It's totally distant. They might not even know a whole lot about him, but he has all this inside information that I don't even know how you feel going to that funeral and feeling that, because you do the best you can. It's not, he wasn't ignoring it or casting it aside. He was just trying to do the best he could, but he's living with the pain of knowing kind of where she was exactly at that moment. And yet this still played out.
That they could have saved her life, if only that they knew. And if someone at the funeral had ever felt depressed, to get some help so that your face won't ever end up in the press. There wasn't a dry face in the room, only 22 years old, an entire life in front of her, and now she's laying there cold. If only I'd called someone, we wouldn't be here now, and nobody would be sad, and I wouldn't feel like I let her down. But that's not what happened, cause instead of going to bed, I called every person I knew to check to make sure you weren't dead. I stayed up 7 hours praying every second of it.
What a switch. So he didn't do that. It made it look like that was what he did, but he didn't. He made calls. He stayed up. He couldn't sleep. This is, wow.
Person I knew to check to make sure you weren't dead. I stayed up 7 hours praying every second of it, just hoping to get a text saying that you weren't heaven sent, but then I got it. You told me that I had no right and blocked me on everything, and we ain't talked since that night. Was I a bad friend? Options I had.
This is insane. Okay. Wow. Because, you know, the first thing I'm going to say as a mental health professional is you do everything you can to save somebody. So you definitely err on the side of caution. I'm so glad to see this video. And you do everything you can. And I do not keep secrets with people like that. I've had many people who have tried to swarm me to secrecy as far as, you know, how they feel and the desperation and what they're going to do or thinking about doing. No, never. Like, and I'm a mental health professional, so I have to, you know, by my license and the practice I do. But it is so important, everybody, to do whatever you can to make sure you tell a friend. And if they cast you out because you speak out and yell out to save them, then so be it. Like, that's the consequence I will take, because I am loving you. I'm caring for you. I'm doing everything I can to keep you safe and alive. And if that means you want me out of your life, then okay, but I'm not going to be the friend that's going to carry the burden of you doing something the rest of my life, because I want you here. I want you alive. What a story. Oh, and now it still hasn't ended. I got to go back.
You weren't dead. I stayed up 7 hours praying every second of it, just hoping to get a text saying that you weren't heaven sent, but then I got it. You told me that I had no right and blocked me on everything, and we ain't talked.
You know, I like reading this. Oh, man. Send me something. Seriously getting worried. Wow, these are great messages. You had no right. So this is her typing.
Since that night, was I a bad friend? Options? I had none. I guess I'd rather be a bad friend than a sad one.
That is so true. I'd rather be a bad friend than a sad one. I'd rather have you here and alive and saved without me having contact with you than to live with the fact that you're gone. Like, he was walking in that funeral home, and that's what was gut-wrenching to me, that, you know, to experience that was terrible. And man, wow, so cool.
We ain't talked since that night. Was I a bad friend? Options? I had none. I guess I'd rather be a bad friend than a sad one.
Crypt, bad friend. There it is. What a video. Crypt, amazing job. I'm just honored to be able to do this to somebody that I've watched do reactions and somebody that now I get to see like with your craft and with your skill and the way that you put those words together and that story together, along with the music behind it to have the impact and the emotion of every moment. Looking into that mirror, which I'll never forget. Really cool. I really loved that one. And that's what this day of New Artist Sunday is all about. That is Crypt and Bad Friend. I can't wait to do some more Crypt now to be able to dive into what his craft is and extends to. So that was really cool. Please give me your inside feedback, comments. Loved it. And let me know what you think about it. Remember, this isn't real therapy. This is just Tom. I am a mental health professional, but I'm just breaking down lyrics. And if you want real help, look at the link in our bio and check out the resources there, because you deserve help and everybody does who wants it or needs it. Even if it's somebody you know that needs help, please reach out and try to get them help as well. Join us on the Discord and please jump over to Patreon when you get a chance. Reaction Therapy at Patreon. Go check it out. See if you like it. There is tons more content there and a chance to request, because the top 2 tiers get a free request every single month. You request it, I do it. Reaction comes out. It is guaranteed. And that's, also some one-on-one Zoom time with me, which I love, and I know you will too. So if you haven't subscribed, do that. Join us on Discord, and I cannot wait to see you on the next Reaction Therapy.